Hey everyone, it's CL, and I actually have to refilm an intro video. The original one that I filmed for this particular video was all sorts of blurry, so as a quick introduction, I recently read The Vegetarian and I was doing like book commentary. It's been a while since I did book commentary, so my footage is a little bit rough and the book is very short, so I didn't have too much to say about it. But if you're interested in how I felt as I read The Vegetarian, this was a very popular book last year. Like, I know a lot of people were picking it up, a lot of people were reading it. My library just so happened to have it, so I decided to just read it really quick. And yeah, so go ahead and check out this video if you're interested in my commentary for The Vegetarian. And I think it's a good way to break the ice for future book commentary videos going forward, so I can get back into the swing of things. So yep, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, okay, I just barely got into this book. I'm on page 12, which is like 2 pages into the actual book. And the way the narrator is describing the wife, oh my gosh, it feels like somebody's reading me. Like, he talks about like his wife is kind of boring, kind of simple, you know, and when they have like a day off, he will like do his own thing and she'll be in her room reading. I'm like, wait a minute, is this book about my life story? But it seems like that. That was my first impression so far, that I was like, this wife seems familiar. But I know that since this is a book, I just have a feeling that the wife has a lot to hide. Maybe there's gonna be some big reveal. That is my theory going into this. Let's see how it turns out. Alright, also quick update on The Vegetarian. I've reached page 63, and I have to tell you, as far as like characters in this book, like I hate all of them. I hate all of them. Like, all the characters in this book so far, 34 pages in, I really dislike. And as far as like the husband in this book, he totally appalls me. I think like out of all the characters, because they're all so ugly, they all have ugly personalities, they're all making the wrong decisions, the character that I actually am starting to feel bad for is like the crazy one, you know? Now the crazy character in the book seems the most sane out of all the other characters. And since I am 34 pages in, I have already come down with like a theory of what I think is going to play out and happen in this book. So I'm gonna keep that stored in my mind, and as I read this book, I wanna see if I get it right. So we'll find out. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue reading, and let's see where else this story brings us. I wanna say it's Wednesday the 10th. So I finally finished this book, The Vegetarian by Han Kang. Now, I don't even know how to rate this book. On Goodreads, I did put the official rating at 2.5, but honestly, I can't tell if that was like an accurate rating of how I like this book. Starting off, I really disliked the book. I disliked the book in the sense that I hated all of the characters. Like, I just don't even know how to review this book. And when I was looking on Goodreads, kind of like looking at what everybody else thought, and a lot of people are saying the same thing, like they don't know how to rate this. So was it a bad book? Not really, but I hated all the characters, and it left me every time these characters would do something or say something, I would just like cringe inside. But I do want to say that near the end of the book, when everything is practically winding down, that's when I thought it started to redeem itself. Like, okay, I understood more of why people did the things that they did. And while I was reading this book, it did feel like there was a metaphor that kept on being reiterated, but as far as me translating that metaphor, I still, to this day, and I've thought about it, I slept on it, I still don't know what exactly the metaphor is. And even the ending, like the ending didn't feel like an ending. It felt like it just stopped. And that is one of the things that irks my insides, because I'm someone that definitely needs closure, and it didn't leave me with any closure. It left me with kind of like, now what? Now what do I do? It is one that will leave you thinking. It is one that will leave you appalled. And I keep thinking back to that metaphor, like, what did I take away from this book? What was like the key factors here? For me, what I took away from the book, as far as how it depicted women as being like these people who are easily abandoned, who are burdened with all these responsibilities, while the spouses more or less can just dip out at a moment's notice, you know? And that was hard. That was hard to read. That was hard to empathize with because it's so sad. It's such a sad situation. So while I was reading this book is called The Vegetarian. Early on, we learn that one of the characters becomes a vegetarian, and the tone of the book starting out, I honestly thought, my theory going into the book, I thought that by the end of it, this character would go completely insane and do a total 360 and like murder her entire family. I guess I took the horror aspect of this book as far as like how I interpreted the tone starting off, but that did not happen. I'm not sure if I would have been satisfied if that happened, but I guess in my mind I was like, I hated the character so much I could totally see why this other character would like massacre her whole family, you know, just because they're so horrible. But there's definitely some redeeming qualities, and still to this day I've been like thinking about it, mulling it over in my head, and I just don't know how I feel about the book overall. But I will go ahead and stick with my 2.5 star rating. Would I read it again? Probably not. But will I still keep thinking about it? Probably for the foreseeable week. And then hopefully I can read something else to kind of purge my mind from this book. I mean, I'm gonna take it for what it is. I thought the author did a really good job. I do have to give her credit there. But I guess it just wasn't the story for me. Would I say it's the best book ever? Definitely not. Would I say it's the worst book ever? Definitely not. I don't even know. It left me with a I don't know. Alright, so that is my wrap up for this book here, The Vegetarian. If you want a very short book, you can honestly, if you want to sit down for a couple hours, you can honestly finish this book in a day. But other than that, I'm glad that I read this book. It did force me to think about it a lot, so in that sense it was a good brain exercise. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.